Shalom, this is Levi Shore. Welcome back to Speaking of Torah. Today we're going to learn Parsha Vayeshev, and it's amazing because we're going to learn how someone becomes a king. We're going to see the making of the king in the story of Yosaif, in the story of Joseph, and we're going to see how a 17-year-old boy, grows and eventually becomes a king. So let's dive right in. All right, so we're first introduced to Yosaif, and the pasuk says, Eila told us Yaakov Yosef. Yosaif ben Shiva Esrei Shana Hayaroeh Es Echav Batzon. So it says the generations of Yaakov is Yosef, and Yosef, we're told, resembled Yaakov, in his physical appearance, and his life mirrors the life of Yaakov. And we see, and Yaakov saw in Yosef that the mission of the Avos, the mission of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, the mission to bring knowledge of Hashem, of this infinite being, this infinite creator, the one who runs the world, to knowledge of Hashem to all the world, knowledge of Hashem's Torah and his mitzvos, knowledge of doing good, doing kindness and chesed. And Yosef most embodied this mission of the Avos, and he continued the Toldos, the generations of Yaakov. And we're told that he was 17 years old at the time, and he was a shepherd with his brothers. And the fact that he was a shepherd is so important because we see the great leaders, the great kings of the Jewish people, they start out as shepherds, and it's a good reason for this. So we see David HaMelech, King David was a shepherd, and we see that Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses was a shepherd, and here we learn Yaakov was a shepherd, Abraham, Yitzhak, they were all shepherds, and Yosef is also a shepherd. And so why? So someone that can take care of animals, someone that has kindness and mercy and compassion and can take care of animals, that is a person that can lead people. A person that cares about animals learns how to care about others. And a person that cares about animals is a person that can learn how to care about people. And a leader, a good king, is someone that cares about his people. And not that the people serve him, but he serves the people. So he was also a shepherd. Yosef was a shepherd with his brothers. It says, Hu na'ar es b'nei vilcha v'es B'nei Zilpa Neshei Aviv Vayave Yosef Es Dibasam Ra'a El Avihem. So he was young. He was a teenager, as a Na'ar, and he was with the sons of Bilhah, with the sons of Zilpah. These were they started out as the maidservants for Leah and Rachel, and then they also became wives, and they also each gave birth to two of the tribes, two of the Shavatim of the Jewish people. So this is where Yosef gets in the promise. But this shows that he had the qualities of a king, but he had to grow into it. He wasn't yet acting like a king, but he had the desires and intentions of a king. So he brought a dibasam, he brought diba. He spoke lashon hara to their father about the brothers. So what was he doing? Was he just trying to get him in trouble? No. Yosef wanted to see his brothers elevated in ruchnius, elevated in spirituality. He wanted to see them grow closer to Hashem. He wanted to see them, learn the Torah better and do the mitzvahs better. But he didn't do it in the correct way. So what he did was he went to his father and says, my brothers are doing this and my brothers are doing that. His intention was good. His intention was that he wanted them to improve. So he told his father, what they were doing wrong. He told Yaakov what the brothers needed help in, what they needed improving. But that is not what a king does. He was at the beginning, but he was not yet a king, because a king will talk to the person. He will uplift that person. He won't speak negatively of that person. He will say, I see great potential in you. I see, you can become great. And this is what you can do. He will inspire and give musar, but in a way that each person can hear and uplift. Not speak the lashon hara and negativity about a person. Even though his intentions were good, he wasn't doing the right actions. And it's so important. So then we see, Vayisrael Achav, and Yisrael, Yaakov becomes Israel. He's named, Yaakov is named Yisrael, named Israel. So Vayisrael Ahav Es Yosef. And Yisrael, his father, loved Yosef. Mikol banav, from all of his brothers. Ki ven zakunim hu lo v'asa lo kesones pasim. And Yaakov, or Yisrael as he called here in this pasuk, he loved Yosef more than all his sons. And he was a child of his old age with his wife Rachel. And he made him this fine woolen tunic. He made him this kesones pasi. So Yaakov saw in Yosef the potential of leadership. the potential to inspire his brothers and inspire the Jewish people and be a melech, be a king. And he made Yosaif this special garment. But what did it cause? V'yiru echav ki oso achav avichem mikol echav v'yisnu oso v'lo yaklu dabru l'shalom. But his brothers saw that it was he whom their father loved most of all his brothers, so they hated him, and they were not able to speak to him peacefully. So we see the potential in Yosaif to be the king. But Yosaif wasn't inspiring yet his brothers. So his brothers just hated him. So his father marked him, with this kesonis pasim, this like royal garment, this special garment. He marked him as the melech. But Yosaif wasn't yet acting like the king, he wasn't inspiring. So they hated him because he wasn't uplifting them yet, and they hated him. So then he has the first dream. Yosaif has the first dream, and he says, "Behold, we were bringing sheaves in the middle of the field, when behold, my sheaf arose and also stood. Then behold, your sheaves gathered around and bowed down to my sheaf." So if you don't know what a sheaf is, because we don't do a lot of farming nowadays, most of us, but when they take the wheat, they collect the wheat and they bind it up in this big stack of wheat, a sheaf. And so he saw this vision of all the brothers, and they were symbolized by the sheaves of wheat, and he was and they were bowing down to his sheaf of wheat. So the brother said to him, "Why would you then reign over us? Would you then dominate us?" And they increased even more to hate him because of his dreams and because of his words. So here we see the first chalom, the first dream given to Yosaif. And we see Hashem is giving a nevuah to Yosaif that he will be the king and the brothers will bow down to him. And then he's given the second vision, and he dreams another dream, and he says, "Look, I've dreamt another dream. Behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars were bowing down to me." And he told it to his father and to his brothers. So we see here that Hashem has given a nevuah to Yosef that he will be king, he will be melech. But the rest of the Parsha, we're going to see what it takes to become a king. We're going to see what it takes to act nobly and what it takes to become a Jewish king. And we see the beginnings of Yosef here, but the brothers were not inspired by him. They didn't see him as the natural leader. They saw Yehuda as the natural leader. And from Yehuda also, and we'll talk about this next week's Parsha, from Yehuda, Judah also comes kings, and Mashiach and David HaMelech, King David comes from Yehuda, and Mashiach ben David comes from Yehuda. But this week we're going to focus on Yosef, and the future king, Mashiach ben Yosef, will be the descendant of Yosef. And we see there's also kings that came from Yosef. Yosef himself became a king. Yeshua ben Nun was from the tribe of Ephraim. He became the leader after Moshe Rabbeinu, after Moses. And then the kings of when the kingdom split between the kingdom of Yehuda and the kingdom of Yisrael, the 10 tribes of the north, they were led by different kings descended from Yosef. Okay, so the brother. So at this point, where his father gives him a special royal garment, Hashem gives him nevuah, these dreams of nevuah, of prophecy that he will become king. But this just creates hatred in his brothers, and his brothers end up selling him into slavery. Okay, so now this is fascinating. So a person at this point, like, oh, my father saw greatness in me and he gave me the special garment, and Hashem himself revealed through nevuah that I will become king. And then what happens? They throw him in a pit and they sell him. They sell him to some Yishmaelim. They sell him to some Arab merchants, and then he's sold down to Mitzrayim, to Egypt. A person could give up. A person could say, "Oh, that was just a dream. It was nothing. It was nonsense. Okay, maybe my father, saw greatness in me. Maybe Hashem saw greatness in me, but it's over. I was thrown in a pit. I'm a slave now in Egypt, and it's over." But this is not what a king does. A king sees that all the things that happen to him are from Hashem, and this is what Yosef does next. And he sold to a royal minister, Potiphar, and says, "And it happened that from the time he appointed him in his house and over all that he had, Hashem blessed the Egyptian's house on Joseph's account. And Hashem's blessing was in all that he had in the house and in the field. He left all that he had in Joseph's custody, and he did not know anything that was with him except from the bread he ate." So why does this Egyptian minister in the land of Egypt, where they worshipped every kind of avodah zarah, They made these animals into gods, and they worshiped this kind of like animal nature worship. And they were masters of kishuf, masters of all forms of magic and sorcery. So why did Potiphar see from Yosaif that Hashem was blessing Yosaif and blessing Potiphar? And the reason why Potiphar saw this is the way that Yosaif conducted himself. So Yosaif may have been sold as a slave, but he conducted himself with nobility, with honesty, with generosity, with kindness. He acted like a Jewish king, even though he was a slave, because Yosaif saw that this was all from Hashem. And Yosaif even praised the Hashem that he'll be successful. Not that Hashem will free him from captivity, but he sees that Hashem is putting him in this situation. And he prays to Hashem to do his best in that situation. And Hashem rains blessing down upon Yosaif and upon the house in which he's working. Also, a tzaddik not only brings bracha, brings blessing to himself, he brings bracha and blessing to all his surroundings. And Potiphar saw, by the way, but Hashem was never left Yosef's lips. Yosef always talked about Hashem, always talked about how Hashem's running the world, always talked about Hashem's Torah, about the mitzvos he was doing. And that's why Potiphar could see Hashem in the world through Yosef, through Yosef's words, through his actions, through the way he conducted himself. And Potiphar, a minister of Egypt, saw Hashem and saw that Hashem was blessing Yosef and him through the way Yosef conducted himself. Because even in slavery, even as a lowly servant, he began to rise up because he acted like a king. No matter what circumstance we find ourselves in this world, if we know that Hashem is with us, if we know that Hashem's Torah and mitzvos are uplifting us and giving us a nobility, a royalty, then we act that way, people can see it. Even if we're in a lowly job, a lowly position, even as a servant, people can see it. And then the wife of Potiphar tries to seduce Yosef. And she saw through astrology that through her and Yosef would come great kings. But she did not realize that it was really through her daughter that would marry Yosef would these kings come, and she thought it was through her. So there was maybe some nobility to her actions, and she tries to seduce Yosef to have children, and he resists this ultimate temptation. And he resisted, and the Midrash tells us that he saw a vision of his father's face. He saw the holiness of his father Yaakov's face, and all that Yaakov had taught him. And then it all came back to him, the Torah and the mitzvos, and he ran away. He ran away from this affair. So is he rewarded? Is he rewarded? So Hashem gives him this nevuah that he's going to be a king. His father gives him a special royal garment. And his brothers hate him and throw him in a pit and sell him into slavery. And here he rises up as a servant in the house of Potiphar. Potiphar sees this Kiddush Hashem that Yosef is making, that he's spreading the knowledge and the Torah of Hashem. And he resists this ultimate temptation. Is he rewarded? Yes, he's rewarded by being thrown into prison. Because sometimes we do the right thing in life and it doesn't seem at first that it works out. But if we recognize that this is all Hashem, if we realize that this is Hashem, and he's putting us in these situations to rise us up, to bring us to the nobility of kings and queens. And that is what Yosef, is making him a king. He always conducted himself like that. And we see again, Vayehi Hashem es Yosef, Vayedi lav chesed, Vayiten chino beinei sar beis hasohar. And Hashem was with Yosef, he was with Joseph. And he endowed him with appeal, charisma, and he put his favor in the eyes of the prison warden. So even now in prison, he could have just thrown in the towel. I give up. I tried to do good, but now I'm just in prison. I will act like a prisoner, but he did not. Even in prison, even after doing the right thing, resisting this temptation of the wife of Potiphar, and he's thrown in prison for his great action, he does not give up, and he continues to rise and elevate himself, and he keeps acting with the nobility of royalty. And he acts with the nobility of the Torah and the mitzvos. And the prison warden placed all inmates that were in the prison in Yosef's custody, and everything that was done there he would do. So he begins to rise again, even in prison. It's because of his actions, because the name Hashem never left his lips, and he never stopped talking about Torah and doing the mitzvos and carrying himself with an air of nobility. and doing chesed, kindness, and he had rachamim, compassion on others. And the prison warden began to elevate him. And the prison warden could see that there was the blessing of Hashem was still with him. And the prison warden did not scrutinize anything that was in his custody, because Hashem was with him, and whatever he would do, Hashem would make successful. So the prison, even in prison, the prison warden could see. So then we hear the dreams of the Sar HaOfim and the Sar HaMashkim. So the royal baker and the royal like sommelier, the wine steward, and they had these dreams. And Yosaif, now we see a king coming into to fruition here, because now he hears the troubles of others, and it's not, oh, I had a dream. He could have said, oh, I had a dream too once that Hashem said I would become king. But no, we see a king, a real king, because he's more concerned with the troubles of others now than himself. And even after everything that's happened to him, now he's becoming a real melech, a real king. And he says, tell me your dream. What is your dream? What did Hashem tell you? Maybe I can help you understand the dream that Hashem gave you and help you. And that is a melech. And we see now Yosaif becoming the true king. And the true king is concerned about others, concerned about uplifting others, concerned about bringing others closer to Hashem, concerned about teaching others the Torah and teaching others how to do the mitzvos, and uplifting his people, uplifting the people. And that is the mark of a king. And we see in this Parsha, we see the making of a melech, the making of a king of Yosaif. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you back again soon on Sweet Good Torah.